something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? Lighting this night is not terribly flash. I am camped up in a motel in Mannum in South Australia as we prepare to head off for a bit of a trek around South Australia and Victoria over the next week and a bit, or thereabouts. So looking forward to catching up with everybody over in Victoria this weekend. Of course, the big My Place get-together is happening just out of Echuca this weekend, the big My Place camp out. Looking forward to catching up with everybody who's heading along to that. Can't wait to see you all. Very excited about it. And for a whole bunch of new friends that we're going to make in Mount Gambier. That's coming up on the 6th and 7th. So looking forward to catching up with some old friends and meeting new ones in Mount Gambier for that too. And if you can't make Echuca or Mount Gambier events and you're sort of in the northern reaches of Victoria or the eastern reaches of South Australia, then why not come to Pinaroo and meet up with us on December the 3rd. We're going to be at the Pinaroo Hotel. Pete from Pinaroo, who I have to give a call tonight when I get off the show. We're going to go and catch up with Pete and a few others in the area, hopefully, and have a little bit of a chat about what's going on in the world. And boy, there is some interesting stuff going on in the world. Weather's not good for a camp out this weekend, Sharon. I haven't looked at the weather yet. And can I tell you, packing was a nightmare. I haven't brought a jacket. In fact, I think I've brought wind cheaters, but that's about as good as I've got. So I haven't brought a jacket. I only just managed to get everything on the flight today and screwed up monumentally by leaving my phone in my briefcase, which was coming on as carry-on luggage. But apparently it weighed 12 kilos, my briefcase, and you're only allowed to have 7. So we'd had to go underneath. And where did I leave my phone? Underneath. Didn't bring the plane down, though, and it hadn't been turned off. It had been ringing quite a lot. So anyway, that's how it sort of worked. Thank you to Vince for getting me here, for being my chauffeur, although I think I'm going to share the driving with him over the next week or so. And organising this. I can't thank him enough. So he's a gentleman and a scholar. He's home madly finishing up a bit of his own work and packing his stuff up because tomorrow morning early we've got a big drive heading off to Echuca, and we'll see the early arrivers there tomorrow. I don't think we'll get there until, I would suggest it'll be after 5 o'clock when we get there tomorrow afternoon. So if you are coming in tomorrow, look forward to seeing you. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, big things happening for the My Place camp out. And if you aren't a member of My Place yet, what's going on? Why aren't you? And what, there isn't one in your area? Well, go to myplaceaustralia.org and start one. It's that simple. And there's a lot of support, a lot of people who get around to help you set it all up, and a framework for you to work within. So you don't have to go and start from scratch, if you like. The lovely Sandy says it was 41 today down at the Donkey Sanctuary. My God. That'll certainly get them sweaty in places where, well, you wouldn't prefer the sweat. And storms tomorrow. Well, ordinarily, if we got a day that was that hot where I am, we would have storms that afternoon and all night and probably the next day from that kind of thing. But I hope you get the water if you need it. I hope you don't get too much. And love to all the animals that you're looking after, Sandy. Yes, Suze, thank you very much. Aussie Sue is just saying, please remember to like and subscribe, folks. Yes, please do. The algorithms are changing slowly but surely around here. I was going to say, maybe we aren't running again on the main channel tonight. Last Friday night's show should have gone out on the main channel and didn't for some reason. It went out everywhere else. But if you are watching on VOF, give me a thumbs up or something so I know that you are actually seeing it tonight. But I have been a little bit lax in the last little while about doing the shows. It's only because I have been extremely busy helping around the property, getting things set up for my departure, which obviously has happened now. So you'll be seeing a lot more from me at a lot more regular times. When I get back to the property, it'll be approaching Christmas. There are a couple of birthdays in my family, including my own, that we'll be celebrating, and then Christmas time will be upon us. And I just hope that, you all have a wonderful time leading up to that. Christmas is always wonderful with family and friends coming around to visit, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with a great many people this Christmas. Family, of course, but there's a bunch of friends who are coming up from down south for Christmas this year too, having a very special Christmas. So I look forward to spending a few days with them over the Christmas New Year break and catching up. I'll probably do bits and pieces through that period with the show as well. Then got a bit of a working bee on the bus happening in January, which will be great, and hopefully by February then she will be all systems go for departure, and that's exactly what I plan on doing, heading back down south again initially, and then turning around and heading as far north as the old girl will get me. That is the plan for 2025, or at least the first half of it at this stage. Can only do it with your help, though. And I have to be here to provide you some sort of useful service, I would hope. Or if not a useful service, then maybe just a laugh at the odd time where you need one. We would love to keep you entertained as we wind our way through the madness that is the world at this particular point. The amazing grace. I've got to say, Pete's in the room. New member, Pete, thank you very much. I'm going to give you a call after this. There might be a chance for us to catch up tomorrow. So just on our way through. So if you are up for that, I'll give you a call and we'll talk about it after I'm done here. So what's going on in the world? Well, there are all manner of weird, wonderful things happening in Australia at the moment. I think one of the better things that has happened is that the New South Wales police officer that tasered a 93 or 95-year-old lady as she was hobbling around behind her walker holding a knife. She wasn't moving very fast, obviously, at 95 or whatever age she is. She wasn't moving too fast. 95 she was, for sure. This bloke asked her to put the knife down, and then basically said, bugger it, and fired the taser. He's been in court over the last 8 days on a manslaughter charge. He has been on leave without pay. On leave with pay since this event happened a little while ago, a bit over 12 months ago. And, of course, the family are quite distraught that their 95-year-old mother, grandmother, great-grandmother died in such horrendous circumstances. Now, unfortunately, she was suffering from dementia, and different form of dementia, or fairly aggressive type of dementia. That just means that our police aren't trained well enough to deal with those sorts of people. And clearly this Christian White, his name is, this police officer, who has been paid full pay and hadn't had to lift a finger for God knows how long while this whole thing is being investigated. Now he's being reassessed as to whether or not he can continue being a policeman, and I doubt, after a guilty finding, that he will be allowed to. However, he does have the right to appeal, and there is every chance that he may appeal. In fact, I think he'd be mad if he didn't appeal. But will it make any difference? Don't know about that. Every other day now, it appears there is a school teacher being charged with some kind of sexual misconduct against children. Today, it's a Sydney school teacher. He's been charged with child sexual offence, a number of child sexual offences. He's a music and drama teacher, 26 years old, and he has clearly been doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. Now, if you get a picture of this guy, Well, seems to be he's dressed as a guy today. Well, you'll see what I mean. What is it with today's youth, today's gay youth, that want to go into teaching so badly? Well, I think we know why they want to go into it so badly, don't we? So they can form, mold, and finger young minds into places where those minds probably shouldn't be going or wouldn't ordinarily go. These people deserve to have the book thrown at them, and our education system is putting them out as teachers. And you, and I'm not accusing you as such, but you drop your kids off at school in the morning and think they're safe. Well, in many cases, I suppose they are safe. There are teachers there who aren't trying to commit sexual crimes against your children. But it only takes one, and at the moment, there seems to be one in just about every other school. Every other day, there's a policeman, a teacher, a doctor, or some other professional coming out as a pedophile, being exposed as a pedophile. And some of the worst ones are blokes like this 26-year-old thing that has come straight through an education system that has blown air and God knows whatever else up his ass for the last 20 years, telling him he's wonderful and, he can be whoever he wants to be and do whatever he wants to do. Don't let anybody hurt your feelings. You're in charge. You're in command. Well, this is what they do when they get in charge and command. They start committing sexual offences against children. We've got to stop looking or start looking at the education system, folks, and who is being employed in our schools and on what basis are they being employed. I used to take a great deal of notice about, I'll turn that off. I used to take a great deal of notice about who was, the rising rock star of the day, if you like. There used to be various charts put out about who was famous, who sold more records, who did this, who did that. Well, apparently now we have a new chart, and this one makes me sick. Winners and losers in the ranking of the greatest pop stars of the 21st century. You will understand that we're only 20 odd years into the 21st century. But they're the greatest ones of the century. And who has come out as number one? Well, I guess you're saying Taylor Swift. You'd be wrong. She was pipped at the post by the world's other great female Satanist, Beyonce. Now, as far as I'm aware, I haven't really followed Beyonce's career, I'll be honest, at all. I know that she put a country-fied style hit out maybe 6 months ago, or a song out 6 months ago. I don't know that it was a worldwide hit or a huge hit. Don't know what sort of a song it was. I don't tend to listen. But I haven't heard too much of her over the last X amount of years, quite a few years. She and Jay-Z, I thought, were off doing devil-worshipping things and, having children to sacrifice. It may not be that case, but the music industry, and we know there's nothing funny about the music industry, don't we? Nothing wrong with the music industry. We're all up and up. Don't worry about that. Well, Queen Bee has been crowned the biggest rock star of the 21st century. Maybe it was in her contract, and we all know they've signed the contract, don't we? Fun. The ABC, you know that the ABC and I have never been friends. Well, there was a time we were friends. I did a little bit of work for them once, but we by and large have a very differing opinion on how to provide a service to our listener. Well, it seems today that the chair of the ABC, a guy called Kim Williams, has given his once-a-year speech at the Australian Press Club, where ordinarily he might get a little bit of pushback from a couple of the commercials, but not today. Why? Well, today he came out and started talking about Joe Rogan and how this new age media that is developed, I guess, that I'm a part of, not nearly as successfully as Joe Rogan, but Rogan certainly leads it. Tucker Carlson certainly leads it. Well, this twerp that is the ABC chair is about to explain why he's the ABC chair. I am not a consumer or an enthusiast of Mr. Rogan's work. Well, I don't know that there would be too many ABC watchers that would be enthusiasts or consumers of Joe Rogan's work. There's too much truth. The ABC, me think, complains too much. This Kim Williams has come out screaming and whining and carrying on that people like Joe Rogan and by association people like me are playing on your vulnerabilities. I'm trying to make you scared, according to this guy, although he attributes the fear factor to Joe Rogan. But broadly speaking, he's referring to us all. My goal has never been to make you scared. My goal has always been to make you think, to try and get you to research, to try and get you not to believe what I tell you, but to go and research what I tell you and then believe what your heart tells you to believe. That's all I've ever wanted. And I don't believe that Joe Rogan is steering nefarious conversations and telling huge amounts of lies. In fact, Joe Rogan tells a great deal of truth. Unlike our ABC, because it isn't our ABC anymore, it's their ABC. And of course, they are about the most ineffectual media organisation in the country. The only people that seem to watch ABC News are the dyed-in-the-wool folks who've grown up with it their entire life. And by that, I mean Dad used to watch, Mum and Dad used to watch the 7 p.m. ABC News, and you'd come in off a hard day on the farm, you'd watch the ABC News, you might be in at lunchtime and see the 12:30 or the 12 o'clock bulletin, and you'd be watching the 7 o'clock one at night. And you live your life consuming ABC lies. Very few dyed-in-the-wool ABC supporters get media or get their news from any other source. That is because they've believed, they are the most brainwashed amongst us, they believe the ABC and the government, by association, would never lie to you, would never, ever do anything bad to you. And for people like me or Joe Rogan or anybody else to ask uncomfortable questions of these people who are claiming to be doing the right thing by us, well, that's unconscionable. How can we dare doubt that these people, this government is doing the great and only wonderful thing for us when we know damn well they're doing exactly the opposite? And there is a fair bit of that going on at the moment. Now, there has been some interesting call-outs in the last 24 hours or so with regard to mRNA jabs. It looks like the TGA are being called out pretty solidly. 17,000 doctors are now calling for a halt to those jabs. 17,000 doctors. Now, I don't know how many Australia has, but you've got to say that that's a fairly significant proportion of people who claim to be very intelligent. You ask a doctor, they'll tell you how smart they are. Have no fear about that. My question to you smart doctors, all 17,000 of you, is where the fuck were you 4 years ago? Now you've grown a brain, or you've decided to see how it's working with the public and how the government is collapsing around this argument. And now all of a sudden you've come out and decide that you're going to have a voice. Where were you when Dr. William Bay was leading your voice? You were all cowering underneath your desks inside your surgeries, waiting for your next check from the government to turn up, because you've just spent the whole day, the whole week, the whole month, the whole year convincing people they needed to get a jab they didn't need to get. Unconscionable behaviour is how I see that. I've got a lot stronger language for it, but I'm trying to hold my tongue. Unconscionable behaviour. 17,000 doctors who 4 years ago would tell you they were amongst the smartest people on the planet come out 4 years later, after 4 years of silence, after 4 years of convincing us to get the jibbity jab. Now they come out with a voice and start questioning. You are weak. You are cowards. Thank you for finally finding your balls and your backbone and standing up. Yip-yah, woohoo. Go for a walk through the forest of a fallen near you this weekend. You 17,000 doctors. Let the weight of the names and the faces on those pages weigh on you for the rest of your lives. Because you caused it. Because you didn't have the balls, you didn't have the backbone, or the brains to spot the IQ test when it was delivered to you. At the start of this whole farce. Now, 17,000 of you are coming out and saying, oh, yeah, TGA, bastards. You are weak, all of you. You know, round of applause for finally coming out late. Yay. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be beyond ashamed of yourselves. And when you start to stand up and take responsibility for your actions, then you might start building a level of respect back with me and with the general public. But I can tell you, the medical fraternity now used to be one of those most highly respected of jobs. If your mum knew you were going to be a doctor, well, she was a proud lady. Today, your mother would be, because she probably didn't fail the IQ test. A lot of the older people didn't. They're smart. They ask questions. But you guys and girls, all 17,000 of you have come out today and finally grown a brain. If you want a pat on the back, you're looking at the wrong bloke. And I suspect the wrong group of people. Just because you've finally woken up doesn't mean we forgive you. Your lack of ability to think, your lack of ability to question, your lack of balls to stand up to uneducated, non-medical bureaucrats who are dictating to you what's going to happen medically. You are weak, gutless, ballless numpties. The medical profession now is a shame. Anybody wanting to be a doctor now, you don't get any respect out of me. You want to be a doctor more out of greed than wanting to help people, because that's who they have put into the system. People who want greed to be their mantra. How much can I charge? And look, the only example you need to look to back that statement up is look at the private medical centres that are being built by doctors now. They come together, they throw their money together, they build the practice with multiple rooms, and they all work 2.5, 3 days a week, and they might put 10 or 12 doctors in those rooms and churn them through. They're not looking after you. They're looking after themselves. Never forget that on a sliding scale, every jab they gave you or somebody you know, every jab they gave, they got a minimum of $86 for. That was the first time round. Those incentives got higher. The deeper jab rate went up on people. So if the doctor was able to convince somebody twice, 3 or 4 times to get a jab, they got bigger payments 2, 3, or 4th time. It's greed. These doctors were motivated by nothing more than greed. They were bribed, and they happily accepted the bribe without question. This sticks in my craw. Badly. They sacrificed your loved ones, your friends, your family, so that they could pay a bit more off their second, third, fourth, or fifth house mortgage, buy a new set of ping golf clubs, take the kids on an overseas family holiday when COVID died down and you could go on holidays again. They didn't care. Give me the money. And then when people started coming in and questioning, well, should I really have had that? It made me ill. Look what's happened. I've got myocarditis. Oh, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. That's normal. 17,000 of you should be strung up. You should have every asset you own stripped from you. You should be thrown to the streets. Yeah, okay, there are some who fought through this, Bill Bay being one of them. But by and large, the majority were greedy, gutless, ballless numpties who took the bribe and who now, unfortunately, because keep saying it to them, folks, never let them forget it, they failed the IQ test that you and I passed. And it was an IQ test. It may not have been an academic IQ test. It was a life experience IQ test. These very smart, very wealthy individuals, all 17,000 of them, failed it. But now they want to get together and send a harrowing note to the TGA, who are ignoring all and sundry regardless, including senators asking questions of them in estimates. They're providing answers, but they're just providing words. They're not providing answers. So, yip-yah, congratulations, woohoo, you 17,000 heroes who've finally woken up, I want to say. I don't know that that is the case. I don't know that you have woken up at all, but we'll have to wait and see what's going to play out in days and weeks ahead. I think my computer is about to die on you, folks. That's what happens when you don't plug it in the right way. So I'm going to run off and leave you before the whole screen just goes black and I can't end the live. Sorry for the lighting. There is not a lot. I've got every light on in the motel room at the moment, and I've had to bring my torch out to give you, because that's what it looks like without it. So sorry for the lighting tonight. If you are out and about, folks, and looking to come and do something this weekend, we would love to see you at the Echuca My Place event at the big campout. I know there is one site still available. It was to have a big motorhome on it, but that isn't coming. Pardon me. I'm a bit disappointed that I couldn't bring it. I can't wait to get the bus back on the road again, but that's not going to happen till early next year. So thankfully, the bus has turned into a blue Commodore and a bearded bloke is driving it. It could be this bearded bloke or it could be the other bearded bloke who waves a lot. But we look forward to seeing you. We're hitting the road tomorrow, Pinaroo tomorrow morning, I would say somewhere around 10 o'clock for breakfast. And then we will be chugging our way through to Echuca. And look forward to seeing all the early arrivals there tomorrow. I know there are a couple of people getting in early, and the rest of you are turning up on Friday. So we'll be ready and waiting for you. That's what I want to say. And I have pulled the Starlink down. It's part of the reason I got 40 kilos worth of luggage. The Starlink traveled with me in a suitcase. So we will have better internet connection. At the moment, I'm running off a hotspot off the phone. So if it's been a bit funny where you are, I think I've only got about one bar where I'm at the moment and plugged in. So we shall see what happens. All right, this thing will die in the near future, so I'm going to go. Folks, thank you very much for your support. If you can help us, we need it. You can go to vofhq.com. There is a donate button there, but we'd love to have you as a member. And you can also join as a member on YouTube if you want to these days. So love to have you. Rest assured, this week we'll be back into it with shows galore. I don't have to be on a tractor. I don't have to be shepherding ducks. I don't have to be patting alpacas or feeding alpacas or cuddling dogs or doing a myriad of other things. You have my complete and utter attention for the next 10 days or more. I'm looking forward to it. All right, folks, you have yourselves a great night. And if you happen to run into one of those 17,000 doctors who seems to think themselves so bloody smart and so wonderful for finally coming out and having a go at the TGA, tell them to get fucked from me. Go out and play in the traffic with the dickhead drivers.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?